What is going on? My name is Psyche and welcome back to Dead Cells. Today I will be doing a showcase run featuring the last of the new mutations from the 2.3 update, which is called Point Blank. So it reads, deal 25% damage to enemies within close range of you, and you have to use a ranged attack. The first time I saw this mutation, I got to work thinking what can possibly work well with this. Though today, you'll see that I actually wanted to build something with the inventory bow, though it didn't really work out too well. Though luckily, I will manage to feature the new legendary item system that has been updated in the 2.3 update. So in the meantime, enjoy this fire blast footage of me running through the prisoners' quarters. Obviously, I'm gonna be running tactics, and I wasn't too sure what I was going to play at this time, so I just wanted to start out with a pretty basic ranged weapon, because I thought it worked. Because I thought the Fire Blast actually worked with Point Blank. And just a little heads up, if anyone is new, if you're brand new to my channel and you like what you see, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because it really helps me out. And if you don't like what you see, you can always just unsubscribe later. That being said, I'm just gonna find my way through the prisoners' quarters as always. Every single run starts out in the prisoners' quarters. Going into the toxic sewers, I thought I had enough crowd control to really take advantage of Fire Blast, and as you see in the bottom left of the corner, I picked up Point Blank. Basically, the theme of this video is I will absolutely have to have Point Blank as one of my mutations. As for the other two, I can pick whatever I want. And as well as my weapons and skills, I don't really know what I was gonna run yet since this is normal mode, so I decided to just stick with the Fire Blast and see where it takes me. Luckily though, Fire Blast does really good crowd control, and all you really need is a thing that inflicts oil, and you can just take advantage of its critical hit condition. And here, of course, I don't know what I was doing, took some damage, not a problem. As you can see, even at 5 BC, you're still allowed to make mistakes. This is what I like about Dead Cells, is that you don't have to play perfectly. And I don't know if you can see this, I feel that Point Blank isn't actually working with Fire Blast. I know that it's still early in the game, Point Blank doesn't do that much additional damage yet, but I thought it just wasn't really noticeable. No matter how many times I look at this footage, I feel that Point Blank just isn't actually doing anything right now. Maybe it just doesn't work with Fire Blast, which is kind of weird considering that Parting Gift works with Fire Blast. Anyways, going into the Corrupted Prison. I find a colorless Corrupted Power, which I don't take very often because I don't think it's that good, but I am gonna take it this time just to try it out, and just kind of meme around a little. I'm just here to have some fun, not trying to win. Even if I lost, I wouldn't feel too bad about it. Gonna get cursed in the Corrupted Prison. I actually think this is one of the hardest curses to lift in the game, because there are a lot of annoying enemies that you have to deal with. Luckily though, because the Fire Blast does so much damage, I'm just able to kill everything with ease. Of course, I still need some way to inflict oil on the enemy in order to really take advantage of Corrupted Power. But fortunately, it might not look like it, but the Corrupted Power that I'm using right now actually spreads oil around me. So that was a bonus, and it's largely the reason why I decided to take it in the first place. And I know some of you have been saying I can just parry this, though sometimes I just forget, and I'm not really used to parrying the toxic miasmas. So I decided to just dodge through it. But having already lifted the curse, everything's just been going pretty smoothly right now. As you can see, with this elite weirded warrior, just parry its attacks pretty easy. Find a challenge rift, but this time I'm just going to skip the challenge rift. I don't know if you guys actually want to watch me going through this, so as you can see, I just kind of skip through it. If you want me to leave the footage of me actually going through the challenge rift, then just let me know in the comments and I will add it back in. But other than that, I didn't feel like it added too much to the run, so as long as I didn't take any damage, I'm just going to leave out the parts with the challenge rifts. And here, running into an elite toxic miasma, it was kind of causing some trouble for me because it was protected by the protector, and on top of that, it had an electric cage, so I couldn't leave it. But luckily, that went out pretty smoothly. All I had to do was wait for the cage to go away, move away from the protector, and then kill it like that. And just like that, gonna get some food and go into the ancient sewers, as I definitely think this build is suited for Conjunctivius. So last week I put out a poll on my channel asking if you guys watched anime. Of course, judging by the response, I can see that a lot of you are cultured individuals. However, only 48%, at least last time I checked, are very cultured individuals. Now, I don't usually peruse the adult entertainment side of anime. I mainly just look at it for the memes, but even though I might not look like it, I have actually watched a lot of anime of every single genre, so chances are, if an anime is like remotely popular, then I probably have already seen it. So if some of you wanted to recommend something that's really obscure, chances are I may have heard of it. So if one of you said, hey, you should totally watch this new anime series called A Redo of Healer. I heard it's really popular on the market right now. And I would respond with, I know what that is. Okay, I am cultured enough to know what that is. So if anyone wants to talk to me on Discord about anything anime related, then yeah, go ahead. And running into the ancient sewers here, I'm just gonna take some chip damage from the water. I don't know what I was doing. As you can see from the last part of the footage, I was just really struggling with a lot of the bombs. I just forget that they're even there. But finally, gonna go into the conjunctivius fight. Now, I have you guys know that I watch anime from pretty much every single genre. I tend to be open-minded when it comes to these kind of things. When it comes to TV shows, games, or even, anime related. Though I am gonna have to say my favorite anime genre has got to be slice of life. So if you guys have any good recommendations, that's not just, just straight up porn, then I will be happy to check it out. I used to watch a lot of anime back in the day, but now it's just kind of on the side. I mainly just watch like one episode every single day, so everything has been going extremely slowly. I know I've said this, I think it was in my Spite Store build video, where I talked about I was watching Naruto, and I was watching the part where he fought Pain, and then just a couple weeks ago, I finally finished that one arc. So it takes me a really long time to do these things, and I just don't really have the drive and dedication than what I used to have to watch anime. I still like to watch it, it just takes a bit longer than what I'm used to, but I can't really see myself finishing Naruto anytime soon. I'm still on episode 200, and there are 500 episodes. So it's gonna take me a while for sure. But anyways, this conjunctivius fight has been going really well, and just like that, I think that was a no-hit fight. All I had to do was splash some oil onto the boss, and there we go. And starting off in the Slumbering Sanctuary, I'm not doing too well here, but thankfully though, Disengagement was able to provide some iframes for me to actually recover some health, as I really think Disengagement is superior to the YOLO mutation in every way possible. I'm going to mention this when the mutation guide comes out. Speaking of that guide, I have been working on it, and I think I have the footage needed to actually make the mutations guide. So definitely, I would say the next video after this, or the video after the next video, will finally be the mutations guide. Though finals are coming up for the semester, I do have to study, so maybe it will take a bit longer than usual, but I will try to have it out before the end of April. So thank you for being patient, but yeah, that's just how the state of everything is right now. I'm gonna find the switch. That was a pretty early switch, I thought. At the same time, you do have to deal with golems, which is very, very troublesome to do, and is mainly the reason that a lot of people don't come to the Slumbering Sanctuary. The problem with golems is that if you get hit by them once, you're pretty much dead. No matter which color you play, they're just like the bane of every player's existence, and as you can see there, I actually managed to parry the golems. It's actually not that hard, but again, the problem is that if you miss, then it's just very detrimental. And here, I'm just melting through everything right now, and you might think that the Fire Blast that I'm using is some upgraded version, but no, the Fire Blast that I'm using right now is the 4th tier, which is the first one that I found in the beginning of the game. So as you can see, item tiers don't really matter. It's really about how you use it and the synergies that you get off of it. But anyways, gonna get the curse. I also think this curse is one of the hardest in the game as well. Really, you just have to work your way through it. Just pick out your enemies to fight and you'll be done in no time. Of course, always mind the golems because they don't play nice with you. I'm gonna ditch the Thunder Shield, which was also in the 4th tier, and I'm going to switch it out for a boomerang. This boomerang had spreading oil on the enemy, so that's why I decided to just throw it and then hit him with the Fire Blast for that extra damage, which I thought was a pretty nice synergy. And to be honest, this build doesn't really need defensive capabilities anyways. Also, I did my first live stream last week. I don't know how many of you saw it. I do have the live stream unlisted on my YouTube channel. If anyone wants to see it, just let me know in the comments and I would just link it somehow. But really, it's nothing too impressive. It was just me playing the new Repentance update from Binding of Isaac. That was my first roguelike. I don't know if anyone knew that. I've been playing it since elementary school, back when it was just a Flash game, and it's really astonishing to see how much it's been through over these years. I'm a big fan for it, and I would say the major reason that a lot of people are really drawn to it is because of its RNG system, since everything you get in the game are random. You can't really pick a build like you do in Dead Cells, since you're not guaranteed to get the items you want. It's mainly just to see which items you get and see how that shakes up the game for you. So there are items in the game where if you just get the item, you just straight up win the game. However, that's not the case with Dead Cells. In Dead Cells, you actually have to try, at least to some certain degree, even with the most powerful items in the game. And I'm gonna move on to the Cavern. As you can see, I did some really nice dodges with the ground shakers, as well as the Wave of Denial being very, very useful here. The owl that I use right now also had spreading inflammable oil, so that also helped me out quite a bit. I'm just trying to build everything around Fire Blast right now, but as you can see, I am gonna have to switch it out for something else, considering that the Fire Blast that I'm using is still the base copy, the one I found in the beginning of the game. But I decided to dual bind Boomerang with Fire Blast and see how that turned out, and it actually turns out pretty well. I really wasn't expecting that to work. Obviously, it means that if I hold the fire button, I'm gonna have to fire the boomerang and then it would just let out a continuous stream of fire. It did work out, so I was pretty thankful for that. And as you saw earlier, I did take up a health flask because I was getting pretty low on health, and I wasn't too confident that I can get out of this one alive. So I just wanted that extra bit of insurance. And I also picked up Phaser, because if I'm running point blank, we gotta be close by to the enemy, so that's what I decided to do. And here I'm gonna take a major chunk of damage, but I'm just going to get the rally points back and heal to around 50%. So as you can see, if you are very aggressive in this game, it can be very, very beneficial, especially at higher BC levels. And at this point, I looked at my build and I was wondering if there are any other ways I can make this build even more powerful. And then I thought of a really fringe mutation that I would have never used before, called Ranger's Gear. Ranger's Gear reads, after using a skill, your next range attack does additional damage. So I thought about that, and since I was running 2 skills with relatively low cooldown, I could potentially pick that and get in a lot of damage. So that's what I decided to do in the next transition area, as you will see later. But for now, I'm just dual binding the boomerang with the throwing knife, because at this point I really wasn't sure if Fire Blast actually worked with point blank. If anyone can tell from that footage, definitely let me know. I wanted to phaser onto the Oven Knight, but he kind of just teleported and I couldn't phaser, so I just fell into the lava. Kind of unfortunate, but what can you do? I'm gonna fight the giant. I wasn't too confident because I was at really low health, and I don't know how well this fight is gonna go, but as you can see, that the phaser was actually doing a very, very substantial amount of damage. Though sometimes it does feel a bit wonky to use, you don't really know where it's gonna take you, and sometimes you just end up taking damage either way. And here, I was being too impatient with the crystals, so I got hit, and I'm going to drink a health flask, but thanks to disengagement, I'm just able to drink it pretty safely. Now, this build is obviously not as powerful as the last tactics build, which featured the most powerful build in the game. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It would just make a lot of your runs easier. I've had a lot of comments said that it helped them pass 2/3 BC, so I was happy to help out some of you out. And here what I'm doing is that in the transition area, I'm just waiting for disengagement to come back so I can actually use it in this fight. For some reason, even though the timer is paused during transition areas, the cooldown on disengagement is still there. I just have to wait like 2 minutes to get it back. But anyways, Hand of the King time. Can we pull off a no-hit? Well, here, I still haven't swapped out Acrobat Pack for Ranger's Gear yet. Obviously, that was the slot I wanted to replace. I obviously can't replace Point Blank because that's the whole point of this video. I can't replace Disengagement because it's just very, very valuable, especially in a tactics build. So really, I am gonna have to sacrifice Acrobat Pack, which I thought is a pretty good form of damage, but what can you do? You can only have 3 mutation slots anyways. But other than that, I'm doing pretty well in this fight so far. Been dodging the Hand of the King's attacks relatively well, and just like that, I finally landed. And just like that, I managed to no-hit the boss, so I was really thankful I was able to do that. I couldn't really afford to take any more health flasks at this point. Though thankfully in the Astrolab you are allowed to have one more flask recharge, as they have one more food shop. So I thought that's pretty good game design, to be honest. And in the transition area, I'm going to find the legendary throwing knife, and one of them actually inflicted poison. So I wanted to see how strong this build would be if I just used this setup. And to my surprise, it is actually just very, very powerful. Now I know that theoretically, the throwing knife doesn't really have synergy with point blank, but since I'm able to get in close with phaser, I am just able to melt through everything. So really, if you maximize point blank to its fullest potential, you can actually do a crap ton of damage. Anyways, I wanted to talk about streaming a bit more. It was a pretty different experience for me. I didn't really know what to say. That was my first time live streaming. And I wasn't in a good room. It wasn't the room that I usually record my videos in, so the acoustics were really bad. And on top of that, the mic I was using was not the mic that I use for my YouTube videos. Because usually I record in a room that's not the one that I have my computer in, so it has better acoustics because I don't have like the anti-echo things. I don't know what those things are called. And I just had a mic that was from a headset that I had. So hopefully it wasn't too bad to look at, though from the title it was a test stream, so I was really just looking at how everything went, if I liked it. Am I going to be doing streams in the future? Well, I don't know. If I get a better setup, if I get better equipment, maybe. And even if I stream in the future, I probably won't be doing Dead Cells content, since I wanted to look at other games as well. I mean, Dead Cells is a good game and all, but come on, you gotta play other games too. And after I finish off the mutations guide, I'm gonna move on to 4/5 BC guides. I know that on my channel, you had the beginner guides, which were intended for 0 to 1 BC. I only have 2 videos on there. I don't really know any other tips I can give to new players. And there, of course, I just missed the jump on the laser beams. So, made a little mistake, but fortunately I didn't take any damage. Anyways though, I had the guides for 2/3 BC called advanced guides, and that mostly catered to things that intermediate players would know, such as biome choice, dual binding, general tips at 2 BC, that kind of stuff. And then for 4/5 BC, I plan to have a series called the Veterans Guide, where I talk about the melees, every single boss in the game, how to parry, 4 BC general tips, that kind of stuff. So definitely something to look out for in the coming months. A lot of those videos are going to take a while. I've noticed that a lot of my older videos don't really have that well production quality in terms of like the footage I'm talking about. So if I'm talking about lifting curses, I definitely want curse footage in the background, not just some random footage of me playing the game. And here, going into the collector boss fight, I don't know what I was really expecting in this fight. I do have the double throwing knife, and it's been working wonders for me right now, though a problem that I frequently run into is that I run out of ammo. So maybe I thought you might need some kind of way to get your ammo back, such as magnetic grenade or any type of grenade that gets your arrows back actually. And here I am gonna actually choose the Ranger's Gear mutation over Acrobat Pack. And as you can see, it's actually performing very well. All I have to do is press the right and left trigger, and I just get a bunch of free damage. And because they have relatively low cooldown, I'm talking about the phaser and the wave of denial, you can get in a lot of free damage with it. And because it was mainly something that I would take for boss fights, I didn't really take it in the Astrolab, but finally we got the collector to drop the blue potion, the blue Gatorade, and we're gonna drink it, and we're gonna be overpowered. And just like that, finish off the run with a flawless collector fight as well. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video featuring the new mutation called Point Blank. A lot of experimentation were done to see which items worked well with this mutation, but hopefully I was able to make a build that satisfied the conditions to make this build possible, and I actually think it's very, very viable. But after this video, I'm going to make the mutations guide, so stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. I don't know when it's gonna come out. It might come out like 2 weeks from now because I am gonna have to do a bunch of work on it. But hopefully I'll have it out before the end of April. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching, guys.